What's up guys, C2113 here, and unfortunately you didn't misread the title. I'm having another issue with my S61. Stick with me and I'll tell you all about it. So it's not just one issue that I'm having with this replacement S61, not even 2.5 months after it was replaced. It's multiple issues. And so we're going to go into them. Now there are three main issues and I want to make sure I cover those. The other ones are probably little gripes, honestly, that aren't directly related to the phone so much as they are related to the screen protector and other little nitpicks, all right, here and there. But these are the three main issues. Number one, what can I say? A phone that is not even 3 months old, given that this was a replacement unit sent to me October 30th, I believe, and it's now January 13th, okay? So that's 2.5 months, not even, okay? The charging port is worn out. I've tried multiple cables and none of them stay in the port with any serious level of confidence. Yeah, they'll stay there and they're not falling out to the point where I have to like gingerly put the phone on a table. But, you know, just to show you, this is a pretty new cable. I plug it in. If I just, I'll use my pinky just to give you, you know. That should not happen, okay? This phone is not that old, all right? You know, and to give you some perspective, I have a battery bank that you guys have seen before. The iMudo power bank that I reviewed, that big 30,000 milliamp hour behemoth, right? It has a USB-C port, which I use to charge it all the time. Now, even though it does charge faster via the micro USB because it can only do quick charge via micro USB, the USB-C is just easier. I just carry one cable, it charges pretty fast that way. Same cable, I can't pull it out. It takes a lot more effort to pull it out. Okay? I can't just do the little pinky thing I just showed you. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have to get a good grip on it before I can pull it out. So that's issue number one. It's just unacceptable that a smartphone, especially a smartphone that originally retailed list price for $1,000, okay, that claims to be rugged, which it is in many other respects, but that is a rugged phone that is listed to survive, you know, heavy use and abuse. All right. If your charging port stops working effectively, I'm sorry, but that's game over for your phone. Okay, I don't care how much water and dust and dirt it can survive, and vibrations and all that. If it can't even get a charge effectively, or the port wears out that soon after, and keep in mind, I'm not a contractor. I'm not working on a job site and putting my phone through that sort of abuse with dust and dirt every single day. The only time it's really exposed to dust, dirt, and moisture is either if I'm cleaning the phone or if I'm using it in the garage when I'm working on a car, or if I'm working on a project and I spill some oil or something on it. But for the most part, it doesn't see any of that. It doesn't see a bunch of dirt, dust, grit, all that stuff. I keep it pretty clean because even though it is a rugged phone, I generally try my best to take care of my tech. So that is just straight up unacceptable. But enough of my ranting. Let's move on to issue number two. The camera module for the visible light camera and the thermal camera have to work together in tandem. Now, as you know, the thermal tech in the S61 is from FLIR. Now, the big thing with FLIR is they're able to make lower resolution thermal sensors look way better by using what they call their MSX technology to overlay a border outline that is derived from a visible light camera and overlay that over the thermal image to give you a far sharper and better perspective of what you're actually looking at. So to give you an idea, you've seen in my full review video and also my later thermal camera specific videos on the S61's built-in thermal camera that actually it is only an 80x60 FLIR lepton sensor, which means that the actual thermal resolution of the thermal module is only capturing 80x60 pixels. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that that's terrible. That is garbage, all right? But it is usable for super close-up work and for slightly further work, like maybe we're talking within 5 to 7 feet, the MSX technology really does make all the difference. Now, obviously, it's difficult when there's low light, when there isn't enough light. And again, this is why I can't understand why CAT phones wouldn't go with a higher resolution lepton sensor, since there is a 120 by 160 lepton sensor that would also fit in the phone. But anyone's guess, my guess is probably cost. They wanted to keep the cost somewhere south of $1,200, and so that's the only way they could do it. But I think as a result, it felt a little bit like a bait and switch when they promised an improved thermal camera, and then they delivered us a camera with the exact same thermal resolution but just increased thermal range. Don't get me wrong, that's a great feature, and it's incredibly useful when you're working with an automotive setting like I am a lot of the time. If I'm trying to look at a hot brake caliper or exhaust or something like that, especially exhaust, because you look at an exhaust system, there's no way you would have been able to do anything with the previous setup, because it just would have gone too high into temperature range and it wouldn't have seen any difference between the temperature. It would just say over 302 degrees, and that's all it could read. So anyway, let me get on to the actual issue. The alignment is off, and that is a big problem because MSX relies on the constant position of both the visible light camera and the thermal camera. Now, I've actually seen, you shouldn't be able to see this, by the way. This is how bad it is. I've been able to look through the lens of the visible light camera right there on the bottom, and I have seen, after, it's not like I watched it move, okay, but at one point I just studied it when I was looking at my phone, whatever, and then I'd go be out doing something, and then a few days later, I'd look at it again, and I'd be like, is it just me, or is that camera a little bit further to the right or left? And I thought, oh, maybe it's not. And but again, with visible light, with just taking visible light pictures, you're not going to notice it because the camera module is just using that one module. So even if it's moved, the exterior lens, the cover, the glass, doesn't affect the image at all. And unless it moves so far that it's not being blocked by the aperture of the lens cover space, it's not going to obscure your pictures. But where I did notice this is in the thermal camera using the MSX. I suddenly realized, hey, why is every image that I take completely out of alignment? I mean, you'll see right here, the image just doesn't look right. And at first I thought, oh, yeah, maybe I'm too close, because it's true, the MSX technology has a limited range, and it starts about 5 to 6 feet away, and 7 feet I'd say is the best place to start. And then after that, it's pretty accurate. But if it's closer than that, you actually need to manually adjust the alignment, because as you get closer and closer to the cameras, the distance between the two becomes a much bigger factor. So I just thought at first it was out of alignment, but then I realized I had it aligned already as far as I could in that direction, and it was still not aligning properly. And yeah, I know I can go back after the fact and align the images, but who the hell wants to do that? And why should I have to? Especially since previously the phone took perfectly aligned pictures, and I haven't dropped the phone, I haven't done anything to subject it to a serious impact force, and yet the cameras are out of alignment. So I don't understand how this is happening. Again, this is a replacement phone, right? I sent it in with one issue, the charging issue, which you can click above to see if you want to see that video. And now I got these. Now let's get on to the final and what, in my opinion, is the nail in the coffin, absolutely unacceptable failure. And that is the loss of the function of the vibration motor. Now, when I first got this phone, everything worked fine. And you know what? Maybe it was my being a little naive, but I don't feel like I should have to worry about getting a phone back from warranty and then putting it through its paces before I accept it. But I just thought, oh hey, it's a new phone, I'll be good to go. The last one I got was a lemon. But from this and reading all the comments in my videos, it just seems like that isn't the case. It isn't just a one-off situation, and that it is more and more people are reporting that charging problem. Some people are reporting other issues, and it's getting harder and harder for me to recommend this phone. And I genuinely do apologize if you're someone that bought this phone because of videos that I made early on, because I genuinely meant everything I said. I paid for this myself. I didn't get paid by the company like some people accuse me of. I didn't get sent a free device. I genuinely enjoyed this device and really, really wanted to use this as my daily driver. And even with the flaws that it had, I wanted it to be my phone for the next year, maybe 2 years. But this was the final straw for me. the vibration motor randomly stopped working about 2 weeks into having the phone. And I thought, oh, you know, maybe it's a software problem or maybe it's something. I even downloaded this app called Test Your Android, which is basically just a hardware testing app. And it allows you to test the speaker, microphone, fingerprint sensor if you have one, cameras, and in this case, vibration as well. And nothing happened. So I figured, okay, I'll just reboot the phone. I'll force reboot the phone. It'll be fine. No, it didn't. It still didn't work. And so then, you know, out of frustration, I was just like, ah. Oh. And I just tapped the phone in my hand like this. And then, you know, a minute later, my phone vibrated with a notification. I'm like, oh, it's working again. That's great. And at first I didn't put the 2 and 2 together. I just thought, oh, well, maybe, you know, I rebooted the phone and then I had to wait for something to initialize, right? Well, then it happened again, another 2 weeks later. And then I was in the middle of typing something, and I have on my keyboard, I use SwiftKey, and I had the, you know, tactile feedback vibration enabled on SwiftKey, and I suddenly noticed, that's weird. It's not giving me any vibration feedback anymore for typing. And then I thought about the last time it happened, and I was like, huh. Yeah, it started working again. And then I just got this sinking feeling like, oh no, it's another hardware problem. Something that I'm gonna have to send the phone back, be without my phone for a week and a half. And yes, they'll take care of me, but how many times am I gonna have to do this? And what happens when my warranty runs out? So, you know, I just kept thinking, well, you know, I can't do it right now. I got a trip coming up, whatever. Well, on my trip, it started getting really, really bad. And we're talking that, you know, every 2 days, it started, you know, every 4 or 5 days it would stop, and then every 2 days, and every 3 days, and now it's pretty much a daily occurrence. And I'm over here smacking the phone trying to get it to work again. So it's unusable, and I've gone through the same process that I went through in the last video to get an RMA and a return and go through the authorization for warranty service, and then I got to send it out to Palco Telecom again down south, which is their repair facility in the US. And, you know, they say that they are going to do their best to, you know, make the process a little bit faster, to try to speed things up, because they understand this is already my second claim. But, you know, I have to tell you, I'm just very disappointed. I am very, very disappointed because ultimately I really, really wanted to believe in this product. I really wanted to be able to say to everyone who wanted the best of rugged phones, and look, you want mid-tier performance with top-end rugged specs and top-end features that you're not going to find on any other phone, like your thermal camera, your air sensor, your laser measurement tool. You know, you want all of that, and you want it in a great package with a great warranty, with great reliability. Go for the S61 from CAT, right? But I can't say that. I really can't. I cannot say that this is a good purchase. If you want a rugged phone, you know, there are other options out there that cost a lot less, and maybe they don't come with a warranty, and maybe they don't, and maybe they'll have similar issues. The difference is, I feel like you're going to be spending a lot less money on those phones, and until CAT Phones steps up its quality control and steps up its manufacturing tolerances, I'm not going to be able to recommend this phone to most people. It's the phone that I want to love so bad, but as it stands now, I can't. And as of today, I'm already starting to look for another phone. And it's going to be a difficult decision, but I'm going to have to sell this thing. So I'm sorry for the long rant-like video or rant-filled video, but I had to tell you all these things, and it would feel dishonest to not say this stuff because, number one, I'm not going to leave you in the dark about me sending in the phone, and then I know I'm going to get a bunch of questions on, hey, why are you sending it again? What happened, you know? And so I'm going to tell you right now. So, of course, I told you what's going on. So, anyway, if you liked the video, give me a like. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to tell me your experience with the S61, I really want to know. And I'm sure everyone else who's either interested in this phone or already has this phone wants to know as well. So leave that below for sure. And if you want to see more, the future of the Saga, getting the phone back from warranty, etc., get subscribed so you don't miss any other future content. Oh, of course, you'll also see the future video where I decide on what phone I'm going to get to replace the S61.